Hello, everyone. Make sure I'm muted. There we go. I am so excited to be here with Ebru, Dr. Ebru, for another conversation where we dig into industry trends, insights, happenings, things that we were thought were interesting. And you'll hear sort of our insider take on the beauty industry. What do you think, Ebru?
Let's go for it. And we're both coughing, we're both sick, but we're here for you.
Yeah. We're here for you. I mean, I've got this is called a medicine ball at Starbucks. I highly recommend it. It's a honey citrus mint tea with some extra honey thrown in there.
Oh, nice.
So
Good.
anyway, yes, we are still forging ahead. And we have some interesting topics. And I think hopefully you'll find them interesting too. So the first one we wanted to cover is about celebrity transparency. And this, Ebru, was at the top of your list. So why do you think this is such a good topic?
Well, we seen all the celebrities all nice and made up with their dermatologists and their plastic surgery guys 24/7 on call, right? And I am happy to see that they admit they're human. They admit that they like, procedures done, and they are proudly putting out there. And it's like, hey, I look awesome because I put the work and the effort and I did this. So it makes things more reachable and more transparent and more honest, to be honest. So it's a relief. To be honest, it's a relief for me.
Yeah, I mean, it is really interesting because even a year or two ago, that would have been completely taboo to talk about who did your facelift or even that you had a facelift. And now I think it's gotten like suddenly, very quickly, we're getting into this era of not only are you talking about all the work you've had done, you're bragging about it, you're talking about who did it, because there is sort of this is the other side of it. There is a little like, okay, with everything going on with Ozempic and whatnot, and just so many different things you can do now to yourself, it's kind of like if you're in Hollywood and you don't have plastic surgery, you've got to be an anomaly, right? So the fact that, we all kind of knew they were having it before anyway, but the fact that they're talking about it and who is the genius behind it, in a way, to me, makes it almost like, well, I've got the Ferrari of plastic surgeons.
Oh, yeah.
So it's separating, it's not just like I just didn't go to anyone to get this done. I went to like the top guy. So it's still pretty unattainable for the average person because not everyone is gonna, I don't know what she paid. Did she ever talk about how much that cost?
No, but I was curious,
We're
and
talking
I
about Kris Jenner and her
yes.
facelift.
Oh, we're talking about Kris Jenner, by the way. She
Yeah.
everybody in the industry. But I looked around and it's above hundreds and thousands of dollars. I mean, because she had a lot of stuff done, as far as I can tell. I mean, I'm not an expert on this, don't get me wrong, but it could be between 300 to 500,000 because it depends on the doctor too. Not everybody can do this.
Well, that's right. It depends on the doctor. And then, of course, there's this whole industry now in Turkey,
Oh, yeah.
in Korea, in Vietnam, in a whole bunch of places where you can go and get certain things done. And Thailand.
Mhm.
Um, Turkey, I think, is known more for teeth.
Oh, yeah. Turkey is known for teeth, hair transplants, but
Yes, hair transplants.
They're fantastic in other things too. Again, you have to find the right doctor. My dad was a surgeon, and it's not easy, being a surgeon. And you have to find the right person who's going to listen to you, understand you, and not go
And
over the
not make you suddenly like this
Oh,
crazy,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because I seen some plastic surgery before and afters from Korea and China, and boy, were they scary. I mean, they completely pulled out the face to the back, and that was scary. So it needs to be natural, it needs to feel good, and the pre-op versus post-op, They're both very important. So you need a surgeon who is going to talk to you afterwards as well. And also, it depends on the skincare you're going to use before and after. So when my dad was still alive, let's put it that way, we talked about this, right? And I was like, Dad, what are we gonna do? I'm getting old and blah blah blah. He said, no fillers. I don't want you to do any fillers. By the way,
Hmm.
he's
Yeah.
trained in the 70s. He was a transplant surgeon, general surgeon. He did everything.
Wow.
That's how the surgeons were trained back then. So I was like, what am I gonna do? I mean, he had a feeling that these fillers were not being degraded and it could move around. And then I
And
saw
then
the
it
data.
does.
Yeah, it does. They did an MRI or something like that. And I saw the data. It was here, then it moved down. And it was scary. So when I asked him, I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? He said, you're going to do the best you can. You're going to use your sunscreen and your skincare and your facial exercises. But when it comes to a point you're not happy with your face and you think it's sagging too much, then you're going to find a surgeon. This is coming from a surgeon, by the way. He said, don't do those temporary lifting thingies. Don't do those. Those are not anything. So Kris Jenner is actually following that. Yes, she had some fillers, but apparently the whole Kardashian family wasn't happy about the fillers. At one point, they were having everything removed,
Yeah.
uh, because it's a foreign material in your body. At one point, it's not gonna feel okay, I think. So she went what my dad said, if you're not happy with your
Mm.
face, don't play with your face too much, go for a good surgeon, which makes sense. So I kind of like that. She took that approach and said, okay, I'm not happy with this. I'm not going to put my face into more fillers and all that on temporary solutions. I'm going to find the best surgeon on possible and we're going to go to town and we're going to do this. That's what she did. And she shared.
Yeah, and she shared. But don't you think, I'm just playing devil's advocate a little bit, don't you think that it's creating a bigger divide between the 1% who can afford to do those kinds of things and the rest of us? Because as surgeries get better and better and more natural looking and less fake, right?
Hmm.
If you can afford to do it, great, you can do it. But there are a lot of people who are like, I can't even afford, to buy groceries these days. The price of eggs is crazy, let alone do anything like that. So I think it's just another badge, if you will,
Oh,
of
yeah.
rich people.
Could be, but rich people always. I'm not, defending anybody here.
Yeah, yeah,
On the other side, rich people always had their thing, like quiet luxury. And
yeah,
like you go to Bruno Cucinelli and you get a jacket, what is it, $3,000? You go to Laura Piana and you want to get a baby cashmere. I looked,
yeah.
4,260 bucks.
Insane.
It's beautiful. I will knit that thing. I'm not paying 4,000. I can knit
Right.
it. So, yes, it could be another batch, but there are other solutions. You don't have to have it done in the United States. There are so
Right.
many good surgeons in Turkey, Korea, Europe. You can find a better solution. It doesn't mean that you have to go to her surgeon or you don't do it. It's up to you again.
You also think she got a little bit of just knowing the way they think that everything is monetized, that she got a little kickback for
Well,
promoting
she's a
him.
businesswoman. I
That's what
figured
I'm
it
saying.
was.
They're all business people, right? So she might have said to him, "Look, you do it for half price, and I'll give you a shout out." And for him, that's gold. I mean, I can't imagine how many people are reaching out and saying, "I want that."
Probably he has a waiting list now, which is
I would
real good.
expect he would.
Yeah. So, he did a good job. I'll give him that. Did a great job because it gets harder on an older patient to do surgery because of the
Yeah.
complications and everything and the muscle mass and the skin quality and everything. But this is the shout out to anyone who would or who would like to consider doing a plastic surgery in the future. Until then, you have to take care of your skin. A surgeon cannot work like think like this. If you are a tailor and you're trying to sew up a coat, right? if the cloth you're using is worn out and coming out of the seams, you can't do
Right.
justice to the coat and the cut. But if the cloth is good, taken care of, kept clean, kept happy, then you're going to have a fantastic product at the
Yeah.
end. So surgery, facial
Well,
like plastic
that's
surgery is no
important.
different.
What you're pointing out, and I will say when I had my breast cancer surgery and I had the reconstruction done at the same time, so I had my cancer surgeon working alongside the plastic surgeon in the operating room. It was like an 8-hour surgery, right? But I asked him, because of course, me being me, I said to the plastic surgeon, I want this to be your opus magnum of boobs, like make mine look unbelievable, right? And he did say to me, it's hard because if somebody doesn't have the structure, you can't give them, a Halle Berry body if they just
Mhm.
don't have the right stuff to work with. So it's
Yeah.
what you're saying. And so there's a reality of like, you have to be realistic of what to expect. So my face shape is not going to be like hers. Like, it's going to look different. And so I think people need to know that going into these things, it's not a guarantee of you're going to look like a Hollywood superstar or
Oh yeah.
Hollywood movie star overnight. You're going to look hopefully like a better version of you. Um, but I feel like I've heard too many people who want these drastic results. Do you know what I mean? They want to be like,
But there's a psychological aspect to that too. There was a study, I think in UK. They gave people a version of their face, the real picture, and then a little bit tweaked, made, let's say, prettier, but a very little tweak. Everybody chose the prettier version because in our mind's eye, we want to see ourselves. It's the
yeah,
psychological aspect of things. So if you go through and if you want a very drastic change and you have that image in your mind, however, after plastic surgery, it may not look like that, which is going to make that person very unhappy. And
right.
then it's hard to fix it, like plastic
Yeah,
surgery. It's not like your face is mud and you can mold it if you don't like it. I wish it was, but it doesn't work that way. So it's also on the plastic surgeon explaining this is the limits of what we can do. This is the possible picture we can get. However, it depends on how you're healing, if you have problems, or maybe you're going to heal 100% better. But
yeah,
sometimes complications occur. So, although we always see the end product like Kris Jenner, there is complications sometimes, and we need to take
yes.
that into consideration
That's
as well.
important too. Right. People need to know that as well, and also there's weeks and weeks of healing and bruising and there's, scarring and all sorts of other things too. Well, good. I think we've covered this one pretty well. So if anyone has anything to add, drop it in the chat. We would love to hear your thoughts. And we are going to end this one and we're going to move to another topic.